Hi everyone, welcome to the channel dedicated to sharing the profound insights and wisdom of Andromedan contactee Alex Collier. If you're new here, you're in for a journey that expands your mind and consciousness, bringing you closer to understanding the messages from the fifth density Andromedan extraterrestrials. For those returning, we're grateful for your continued support. Before we dive into today's enlightening content, we have a small favor to ask. If you find value in the knowledge shared in this video, please consider hitting that like button, subscribing to our channel, and clicking the bell icon so you never miss an update. Your engagement helps us amplify Alex Collier's message, allowing us to reach a larger audience with these vital messages. We'd also love to hear from you, so please engage with the comments below. Whether it's a question, your thoughts, or even just an emoji for the sake of engagement, every comment counts. We read every single comment, and your feedback is incredibly valuable to us, as it all contributes to our mission of expanding this community. So please don't hesitate to leave your thoughts below. Additionally, if you'd like to support us further, consider giving a super thanks tip by clicking the heart with the $sign. This small gesture allows us to continue bringing you more of Alex's messages, unfiltered and directly from his lifelong experiences with the Andromedans. Today's video includes a compilation of several of the many important questions Alex Collier has received over the past few years, so please sit back, relax, and enjoy today's video.
From Adeus again. Each day I am less and less interested in the affairs of third density of ET. I am more at home in other densities, but feel stuck in between. This is becoming unbearable. Do you have any advice?
I feel you. I do. I totally feel you. I have those days too. I absolutely have those days. And all I have to, and what I do is I try to go outside in nature and remind myself how beautiful it is. You know, how beautiful the moment is. So what I do is I break it down, I let go of everything that overwhelms me, and I focus on the moment and how grateful I am for the moment and the fact that I'm alive, that I'm standing next to a beautiful tree, there's wildlife, ducks, geese, rabbits, squirrels. I'm just grateful for the moment, and I slowly start to come out of it. And that's all you can do. That's all you can do, you know? Is just, you know, find some appreciation and then grasp that attitude of gratitude. Sometimes that's all you can do to get through it. So, but I hear you.
Totally. Yeah, I think really it's like make new habits, create new habits of being.
You have to think differently, too. You have to tweak what doesn't work and find ways to make it work. You just do. You know? You got to out-clever yourself.
Where did the Lemurians come from, or and are Lemurians and Lemurians the same people?
What's that last part? Or
sorry, that was just really. But really, the question is where. I'm sure. I think she means Lemurians, but she says Lemurians, and it's like, is there a Lemurian as well as a Lemurian, or are they the same thing? But basically, the question is, where did the Lemurians come from?
Okay, Lemuria was a multi-species colony that was established on Earth first. A great portion of the inhabitants came from the dog star system first. You also had some that came out of Orion. They were wanderers, gypsies, for lack of a better word. But they didn't build technology. They were magical, is the word that was used. They used spiritual technologies which we would call today is magic. They didn't build technology, which is why they got their ass kicked by the Atlanteans, because they were focused in a completely different way than the Atlanteans were. And you know, I have not thought about Lemuria in probably 25 years. I have been so distracted and focused with other information in other areas. You know, I will go back to my notes, and the next time I hear from M, I will get more information on that, because, you know, we probably need more information on that.
I think we do, Alex. I think we really do. And there's another aspect, which was like your personal presence on this planet. You said started about 80,000 years ago.
62,000.
62,000.
That feels like 80. It feels like 80.
Yeah, it doesn't feel a day over 44,000. There's a kind of overlap. Did you kind of find your way to Lemuria? Can you remember? Is there information there that you could tell us, like your personal experience of being there?
You know, when I was shown lifetimes on that first visit, there are a couple that I would suspect were probably Lemurian, but I don't know for a fact. And I don't actually have a lot of knowledge about my specific lifetimes there. You know, Visayas would always kept bringing me back to the present, that this is where I was, this is where the work needed to be, not to focus back there. That what I needed to do was focus here because this is where the work needed to be. So he would never answer questions like that for me or give me anything about me per se. You know, although he's given me quite a few zingers to make me think about stuff. Mornay is very different in that respect. But you know, I will ask. I have not asked specific questions like that of Mornay because Visayas trained me not to. So, you know, to stay in the moment and focus on here, which is where the work needed to be. But I will ask, and if I get something and, you know, I wasn't a complete jerk, I'll tell you. And if I was a complete jerk, I probably won't tell you. So.
No, because we need to know. We need to know because, like, you know, you're on the cutting edge, the bleeding edge, because you're like a regular guy. You know, you're just like you and me and James and everybody who's listening. We're just people, and you get excited and you get freaked out, and you're just like everybody else. And these stories that, you know, when you were sitting in the driving chair, you were telling that story several months ago. And how the whole thing started flipping out. Everybody else would do that. Now we have, like you call it, a domain of knowing that, oh, maybe I should keep my mind still because I remember Alex talking about that. And that might improve with the generation of next contactees who go up there and who can actually keep their minds a bit more steady and take their ships out a bit. You know? You see what I'm saying? Is that your experiences are giving us a great...
The next batch of contactees or even some of the ones that are here today that haven't come forward, I'm sure they're already smarter than we are. At least I would hope so. You know, the law of consistency, you know, the younger ones are taught what the old ones know everything, you know, and that keeps the knowledge base. There's no brain drain. There's no loss of knowledge. You know, it's the law of consistency. And you keep everybody moving forward. You know, I would assume and I would expect that the next batch, the next crop, or those who are already here that haven't come forward yet, because it isn't their time, but they're smarter than we are, And I'm good with that. I really am. I'm good with that. That's really how it should be, you know?
Several months ago, you spoke about a veil, grid, or net going down. Can you speak more about this grid's purpose and the results of dropping this net? How was it, and how was it put into place?
God, I thought we already covered that, but I'll cover it again.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's like sort of a bit more detail. You know, who put it there and what it was put there for and things.
The regressives put it there. It was put up there by the Orion group specifically. And basically what it did is it stopped. It created a field of energy, of a radio wave, for lack of a better word, where cosmic energy, cosmic knowledge would not penetrate the Earth's planet. We could send information out, garbage out, but nothing would come back in. Okay? That's what its purpose was.
Okay.
And, you know, understand, stars, when ET races communicate with each other across the universe or a galaxy, that information is sent using stars. Okay? Stars transmit an enormous amount of information, knowledge, and frequency. Okay? There is some wisdom to sun worshippers. There really is. Okay? We made fun of them, but there was some knowledge to it. And if you go back to the ancient civilizations that held a pretty high level of consciousness, they were all star worshippers. Okay? A lot of data and information comes from stars. None of that was actually reaching us except for radiation. Okay? And you know, they're a very sophisticated race. They knew exactly how to filter the knowledge but allow all the other stuff to come in. Okay? That would not benefit us. So, the benevolence, what is happening, or what was happening, I should say, is that they would come in with their ships, whether it be motherships or not, knowing that they would not be attacked. What they would do is they would park them just inside the net, the field, okay, and they would burn holes in it. And they would know that as soon as that hole was built, it would take so many weeks for that net to refill. And what they did was they just burned it out. They burned that field out by putting ships inside of it and burning all these holes, and there was no way that it could eventually replenish itself. And then what they did was the satellites that were creating this field were just taken out, literally just pulled out of the atmosphere. So they no longer exist. They're just not up there. There's no more hardware up there to even work. They just took it all out. And now what you're seeing is this flood of information, of knowledge, of spiritual essence hitting the planet. And everybody's getting it, whether they're bricks or not. Okay, they're all getting this frequency. And people are starting to react to it. They're starting to absorb it, to ask questions that they wouldn't ask 10 years ago, to rethink the way that they see things now that was impossible 10 years ago. Okay, and we all know people like that. Well, this is this frequency, okay? And we are also getting bombarded with knowledge, spiritual knowledge that is very subtle, but that we are all getting on a soul level, okay, an energetic level. It's an amazing time, and it's all positive. We just have to get rid of some pockets of no-gooders that are still here, and that's happening. But you know, it has to happen in such a way that they, you see, when you have regressive groups that are very, very negative, that are just empowered by negative field, the first thing they do is they put innocence between them and the light. It's the very first thing they do. And then what they do is they threaten the light with harming the innocence. Okay? So that if anything happens, it's on the head of the innocence. This is how they work it. Okay? By the innocent ones. which would be most of humanity. So, and I've said this many, many years ago, that, you know, we're being held hostage on our own planet, and no one has a clue. Okay, well, that's pretty much what's happening. But when humanity is evolving and changing its own field from negative to positive, which is what was happening, their grip on humanity is lessening and lessening to the point where they are now beginning to separate from humanity. Their field is causing them to separate away from humanity. And when it gets to a specific place, okay, they will not be able to touch us because our field will be so positive. And that's when the benevolents are going to come in and just, you're done. That's how it has to happen. And it's taking a while, okay? But when humanity reaches a certain point of frequency and the regressives no longer have any ability to harm us, they're going to come in and take it. They're going to take it and whack them. That's how this is going to work. This is how it's always worked.
So this is a bit like one of those old-fashioned flash guns that you hear this, and it builds up, and then there comes a point when you can take the photo. So when the Earth people's energy is high enough, they're not going to be supporting the regressives, because with
negative
illusion. Yeah.
It can't
So
exist here.
one last question, one last connection with this is: are these satellites the Black Knight satellites?
No.
No, that's something different. Okay. Can you explain why certain reptilians are trapped here if they're fourth density? I understand CERN was an endeavor to create a portal to the fourth density so they can get out or share dark resources with entities, but aren't there already portals here to the fourth density?
None that are open, no. Those have all been closed, and they're all being monitored for a reason. And those reptilians who came down here in fourth density, the technology that they were wearing either quit, wore out, or was stolen from them. So they have no ability to return back. They're stuck here, and they will be dealt with. They will be dealt with. Because they're very angry. They typically are very, very angry. Because they don't want to be here either. You know?
Mm. So, and, you know, presumably there's some method of detection that the A's or the allies can use to kind of find them and, say, beam them aboard, sort of thing. I mean, is that a sort of, is that a reality, or is it hard?
Well, yes. I mean, let me give you the example of a radio wave, okay? And you know about this stuff, JP, okay? You have a radio wave, and it's very stable. And then all of a sudden you have a blip. You have a blip here. You have a blip here. Okay, you have a spike. Okay? It's the same concept with dimensions, because what you're dealing with are frequencies. You are still dealing with frequencies. And when you see a spike from third to fourth, you know that there's activity there. So they move in, okay, and they will either suppress the spike or they will monitor the spike to see exactly what is occurring. And it's the same thing with fourth density and fifth density. What you are doing is you're monitoring frequency. Okay? The frequencies in fourth into fifth, when you have a lower frequency spike into a higher frequency, they pay attention to it. All right? They do. And it's the same thing with a higher frequency spiking into lower. They pay attention to it because it is not the norm. It's not supposed to occur that way. It is no different with third density and fourth density. A spike up into fourth from third density, they know we don't have that technology, or we're not supposed to. So they immediately monitor it and move in to see what it is, to record it. And it's no different from fourth density spiking into third density. They know that depending upon the field, if it's negative, they know immediately what it is. And they know they're not supposed to intervene that way. So they immediately move in and record it and deal with the energy. Okay? Deal with the spike or the event, which is usually what it is. It's an event of someone opening a door or closing a door. Okay? We're dealing with frequencies. All life, all physicality is light, color, and sound. All of it. If you break it down to its smallest parts, what you will see is nothing but energy that is held together by the intent of its creator. That's what it is.
Magnetized by thought. So what is your take on the urgent financial system with China and the US? And there's a sort of another question from Lauren, and let's lump them together. In the global currency reset, do you think it would be smarter to invest in foreign currency or precious metals, or just stop trying to trade on minerals and be nice to people? Anyway, sorry, that's my opinion.
I understand the question. I am not a financial consultant. I am not a stockbroker. I'm not a bond dealer. I am an average citizen who tries to stay on top of this as well, so that I can, hold on to the few pennies that I have. The changing of the world's financial system to an asset-based system, I believe to be a very good one. The separation of China from the US dollar and the other BRIC nations, which will soon total over 100, if it isn't already there, is basically to isolate the United States because of its abuse of power. And I don't say this lightly. I mean, I love my country. I love virtually everything about it. I think we're incredibly unique, and we did some amazing things. But it's clear that corruption is institutional here, and it has been ever since the private Federal Reserve took over. The chickens always come home to roost. There's just no doubt about it, and the chickens are going to come home to roost here. Unfortunately, our government isn't going to own it. They're not going to take responsibility for it. The banks aren't going to own it and take responsibility for it. They're going to dump the whole truckload of shit on us. And this is why I say it's important that we take back our power and we just don't put up with this crap anymore. Okay? Because this is what always happens. We blame each other, we look at each other, we're like, oh, we're terrible, we're not good, when in fact they have to come back to us to create whatever new system they have to put into place, because we are the creators. It is not them. It's we are. We're the force that makes it all happen. So it's just same old, same old. It's just that, it's our time to see this whole thing come apart. I would think that cooler heads, sensible heads, those who have even a minuscule of common sense, would realize that in order to be in the world, you have to get along with the world. And that they would figure out a way to come to terms with this. And but we still have to deal with the corruption in our government and our banking system. I mean, that's just a no-brainer. That still has to be dealt with. And I don't know how that's all going to play itself out. If I were investing, I would invest in commodities, things that people need every single day. Water purification, gold, food, groceries, energy. Those are things everybody needs every day. That's what I would do. But that's just my opinion.
I think it's a very important thing to do, to what's the word? To inventory your life, and how much fuel does it take to run your life, and then, well, how if the stocks were to be taken away, how long would I last with what I've got? How much energy does it take to sustain my being?
JP, that's a great point, and this comes back to if you put your life on paper and you see what it is, what you have, what you are, you can then decide clearly: is this the life I want, or do I want to create more abundance? Because without doing that, most people, they don't want to know, or they're so busy being in survival They don't even want to. They really don't want to know because they're always in survival. But you know, you can change survival. You just have to want something better, and then you have to focus your intent on that something better, and then know that you know that you know that you're going to get it. You know, you're the creators, folks. You do this. You create you. No one else is doing it. Only you do. Don't let anybody have that power over you, ever, ever, ever. Okay? Know that you know that you know that you are the creator of your own happiness, not anybody else. It's no one else's responsibility. It is yours. That's what it is.
Are we still on the same timeline where Planet X or Nibiru crashed into the Earth, or we moved to a new timeline? Or did we move to a new timeline? All my love and gratitude to you all.
Okay, well, the planet Nibiru never actually crashed into Earth. They were talking about changing its orbital path. They were looking at certain things a while back, and one of those changes would have caused it to eventually crash into Earth. That obviously didn't happen, or they didn't change its trajectory. So, you know, they're coming up with other solutions that are ongoing as we speak. But we are on a very good timeline. We have some very interesting, some would say rough patches just ahead of us, but we get through them. You know, most of us get through them. The majority of us get through them. But there has to be some house cleaning. And you know, they're bringing in the Roto-Rooter man to clean the septic systems, because that just has to happen, because the sewers will not clean themselves. Okay, so they're bringing in Roto-Rooter to come in and clean out the crap that's here, that's been here, that was never supposed to be here, that has embedded itself illegally. And so those are part of the rough patches that we're all going to have to go through. And that just has to happen. But we will be nonetheless much wiser on the back end of all this experience. And humanity will be in a psychological place after seeing all that has transpired and is going to transpire. They will be in a psychological space of more maturity, being more responsible, and able to grasp the big picture. And that's only a good thing. It's only a good thing. So, try not to buy into all the drama. Be the observer. Okay? See it for what it is. Because that's all they have left, is to try to hook people into the drama to create more fear. That's all they have left in their arsenal. They really do. Okay? So,
I've been
buy into it.
I've been looking at the games that they play. They've only got a couple of games, you know, the divide and rule game and the distract game. There's only like a couple of them. And it's good to step back and say, okay, what game are they playing today? Is this a divide or is this a distract? You know?
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of
many others.
They're losing a lot of teammates. You know, a lot of people are walking away, or they have taken a position where, you know, we're not doing this anymore. Some are being killed off because they won't, because they're being so defiant. And this is a good thing. There are, most are siding with humanity. And that's exactly where their loyalties need to be, is with humanity. So there are still some moheads and jackals, though. There's still some jackals. And they will have to be dealt with. You know, it will have to be dealt with.
Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you found it insightful, please like the video, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon so you don't miss out on future updates. If you have any questions relating to today's video, please also leave them below. We read all the comments and take on board what our viewers have to say about Alex Collier's work. Remember, your support helps Alex Collier's knowledge and the messages from the Andromedans reach more people. If you'd like to support the channel even more, you can give us a super thanks tip by clicking the heart icon with a $sign. It really helps our team bring you more content. Also, be sure to visit alexcollier.org to sign up for our regular email newsletter. It's the best way to stay updated with the latest news, exclusive content, and upcoming live webinars. For the latest insights from Alex Collier, check out alexcollier.live. And if you want to explore over 250 past webinars, head over to alexcollier.tv. Thank you for being a part of this journey and supporting Alex Collier's work. We couldn't do this without you, and we're genuinely grateful for your support. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the vast mysteries of our universe. If you would like to see the Andromedan contactee Alex Collier live via video stream, we hold a live online seminar every Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. For more information on upcoming live webinars, please visit alexcollier.org.